Item is ordinance number 7 with regard to license fee on insurance companies, an ordinance relating to the imposition of administration of a license fee on insurance premiums within Spencer County. We already have a license fee for insurance companies, and that is set at 3%. What this ordinance would do would be to repeal that and set that rate at 7% rather than 3%.
Could you pass that down to Mike and Tim down there?
Oh, Brett, does Brett need one?
I think he might have one, but that's all.
I don't have one. Do I need one?
Probably not.
I don't need one?
I doubt it.
Okay.
You probably know,
I don't?
you probably know already, so I can answer.
I don't.
We'll share.
Okay. The clerk get one of these? The clerk's gonna need one of these. Please pass it down.
This is just something I put together for your information, the information I got from, about this, increase in our license insurance. I had asked the judge to bring us some facts and figures about this, because we knew this was gonna come up, and didn't receive any, so that page that I gave you is, I've given it to you before, and it shows, the current rate at 3% for the current, for 18-19 budget year is $827,937 is what the county takes in. These are figures that I got from Doug. I don't know if they're exactly correct or not, but, and then it goes on to show what a 4%, 5%, 6, and 7% increase would be, and then on the second line down there, it will show you how much the current, an average household would have to pay more if they were paying $2,000 per year insurance on a home, car, boat, land, etc. So you can look at that and come up with your own conclusions about it. Each 1% increase in this insurance would generate $275,979 per year for the county. So right now we're at 3%. If we go to 7%, you can see what it would be. So that's just for your own information.
Essentially, what this would do would be to add about $40 per thousand of insurance premium.
Well, like I say, if the average household, and this is just what I think, if the average household pays insurance premiums on their houses, their cars, their boats, their land, or whatever, they currently pay $60 a year on that, and it shows down there what if it would increase to 4%, they would pay $80 a year, which would be $20 more. And 5%, it would be $100, which would be $40 more, and so on. So it graduates there on what they would pay. But like I say, for each 1% increase, the county would receive almost $276,000 each year for that. So, and you can see if it was increased to 7%, the county in each fiscal year 22-23 would be receiving $1.931853 million if we increase it to 7%. Personally, I am not in favor of increasing it to 7%, okay, because I think we don't really need that. I'm in favor of increasing it, and we have talked Some of the magistrates one-on-one have talked about it. I know some of them are not in favor of increasing taxes. I don't like it, but I've looked at the budget and we've got, when I came up with about $475,000 we're gonna need in the next fiscal year to pay for things that we need to pay. Voting machines, $180,000, new vehicles, new radio system, $60,000, and it just keeps going on and on. So I would make a motion that we would increase this insurance premium tax to 5% from 3%, and go from there.
We've got a motion on the floor. Would anybody care to second the motion so we can have some discussion on it, or? I will say that, this is no surprise to any of us. As we go to these conferences, we know that we see the news stories of other counties. I think Jefferson County is now looking at 50%.
Should we be discussing that while we got a motion on the
Yeah,
floor?
I'll choose to do that. Would anybody like to second the motion?
If we don't get a second on it, then we don't make a difference anyway.
If I'm not gonna get a second, it's gonna die from lack of a second, so anybody care to have any more discussion on it? Motion dies for lack of a second. Okay, now we can continue to discuss this, because I can tell you, I really had hoped that this would come from you all as magistrates, but that's fine. Opted to let me bring it to the table, and we have a very small window of opportunity to do what we should do and need to do for this county. And if we don't act on it, if we allow this just to die, then we're opting to choose a direction that I don't think that would be wise for the county. But given you all as much information, financial information, a couple of times the report that I prepared to talk about the history of why we are in, we've been digging a hole for about 8 years now. And we've got to dig out of that hole in addition to dealing with the pension issue. We've got things that are on the horizon, for example, our 2020 census. I don't think there's any question we're going to go over 20,000 in population. We'll lose roughly 68,000 that the clerks now receive once our population goes above 20,000. So declining revenues, we've done nothing, for example, on, and I'm saying we, the previous court, we know that declining revenues from the 911 fee on landline phones continues to decline. It went from 130,000 8 years ago to now less than 80,000, and that's going to continue to decline, but that's what pays for our dispatch service, which will continue to increase. So we've got a lot of things that you all are aware of, and as you all know, one of the things that concerns me most is employee pay rates. If we are not competitive, we're going to lose employees, and it's difficult, more than difficult now in this labor market to replace those employees with good, qualified, trained employees, especially at the pay rates that we've got. If you look at Bullitt County, for example, they've lost, I think Judge Summers told me now 46 EMS workers because of pay rates, and particularly difficult to replace a paramedic these days. We don't want to lose these employees because we're not competitive. So we already have lost some, and I don't want that to continue and be in a position of having to replace good, qualified, trained employees with employees that will basically have a hard time getting a job anyway.
Yeah, but let me just say this, either I propose that, you know, we raise it to 5%. I think each and every one of us is on the same page as far as trying to cut. You know, I know Mike and Jerry both and Brett too, as far as cutting what we're spending. And we're all doing that, and we have done it. And I think we'll continue to do it. And even as we approve these expenditures, I've got several questions about where we can cut, and I'm sure you do too. But, you know, just because we're gonna you propose to raise this, it doesn't mean that we're gonna stop trying to cut where we can cut also. So that's just one man's opinion.
I would agree with you on that, Spurs. Now, this proposal that I've put forward really should set the county up for not just a year or 2 or 3. This should sustain this county for a good many years in the future and do some of the things that we need to do in order to be a player in this whole region. We have no economic development outreach budget. That's something that we need to seriously consider if we're going to be a competitor in the region. Again, pay rates, go down the list which you all are well aware of. Emergency radio system, GIS mapping is something that's extremely beneficial to counties. We have 9 courthouse renovation is going to be coming up several years down the road that we need to prepare for. There's other projects, road projects, be it Watkins Glen or Pilot's Way or any of the other roads that we need to take a serious look at. Some of the other projects, FEMA projects, Spears Drive, we're going to have some match on that. Some of that will be in kind, but we're not going to do it with the revenue stream that we currently have. And so we again, this is a very, I hope that it would have come up before now, but it hasn't. So our back is now, at least in passing this ordinance, our back is against the wall. We can choose to not pass an ordinance and not provide for the revenue that we know we need. And it's going to get very difficult, particularly trying to put together the next fiscal year budget. Or we can go ahead and realize that we do need to do something. I wish the last quarter would have done something, frankly, and that you all wouldn't be in this position, but they didn't.
Okay, with that being said, I'll make another motion that we increase the insurance fee from 3% to 5%.
We've got another motion on the floor.
We'll see what
That was your last one.
That was what the last motion
it
was.
was, but we did get a second, so it failed.
You want to try to get a second again? You feel like we can?
Well, that's what I'm asking for. Is that a legal motion?
I'm not sure. I mean, that motion died for lack of a second, so.
I think we can just move on to review and approval of expenditures. Obviously, there's.
Well, let's just beg to differ with you here, because, the timing of this thing, I want to make sure you all understand, this is not just a motion and it's done. This is an ordinance. So we have to have a first reading on the ordinance. We have to advertise it and bring it back no less than 7, no more than 21 days from the date that it's advertised, and for a second reading. Second reading has to take place, and we would have to have this ordinance in Frankfort with the Department of Revenue by I think the 20th or so of March.
I'm not
So
questioning.
our window of opportunity, excuse me just a minute, our window of opportunity is closed. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm not questioning the second motion. I'm questioning, is this a legal motion? Because the first one died because of lack of second. So.
Would you care to make a motion?
No, I'm just asking,
I don't think it's illegal. The motion failed. The motion can be brought to the table again. But, I mean, right now we've got a motion that has failed.
I just question
And then
whether
a new motion.
we would change the
Well,
outcome.
what I'm saying is after this discussion we've had, maybe somebody has changed their mind. I don't know, that was on him. If it fails again, then it's failed. It's a done deal.
What have you heard from your constituents?
Well, let me just say this, and I told a couple of you this, and I think you may or may not agree, is that, we've got a lot of very intelligent, smart people out there. And so it's not a knock on any one of our constituents as far as their intelligence. But they do not have the information. They've elected you all to represent them at this table. And they do not have the information that you all have, and hopefully have learned through research and other information as to what our financial situation is. So I can tell you what the answer is if you ask your constituents. You know what the answer is.
Well, I've had two people to call me or email me. One was, yes, if you need to increase the tax, increase it. One says no. So that's the only two people I've heard from.
Do you think either one of those four people will have the knowledge and insight and understanding of our
Don't know.
situation?
I don't know.
Yeah. So trust me, I've talked to a whole lot of people about this. Do I want to raise taxes? No, I don't want to raise taxes. But I don't want to stand in front of the guy over at Signature Healthcare trying to explain to him why it took 40 minutes to get an ambulance out of Shelbyville because both of our ambulances were tied up. We're going to need to, our population is growing. These expenses are growing. This is the perils, are not, as I've said many times, not a thing wrong with the veteran community except the economics of being a veteran community. And that's where all your resources and tax dollars are going to other counties. And we still are saddled with the expenses of roads, ambulance, policing services, and the like. So I think your constituents, at least from what I understand, they want their roads to be in good condition. They want ambulance service when you call 911, and they want police services. This is what our highest charge is, public safety, and it hits all three of those points. In addition to that, we're not going to be competitive in this region if we don't put forth some effort toward economic development. I could go on and on. There's buildings that, we got election equipment that's in an inadequate building. We've got in probably 4 years' time, a potential project to upgrade our courthouse, which desperately needs to be done. We're not going to be in the financial position to do it. Right now, we do not have a huge amount of debt. It's relatively small. Some of this stuff, I suppose we would, I'm not necessarily in favor of racking up a bunch of debt. You sure as heck don't want to borrow money to make payroll. That's what some of these counties are in a position where they, and I've encouraged all of you all, talk to the other counties, talk to the county judges, talk to the magistrates. What are they doing to weather the storm on the pension issue? I can tell you some of them, very few, have the reserves that they can dip into to weather that storm, at least for now. Others don't. Others are acting as I believe, I believe we should. We really need to do what's responsible here. It's a painful, hard decision. I get it. I know that. That's probably why it hasn't come up before now. But again, I think there's been plenty of discussion about it. I don't think I'm springing this on anybody, but if we don't act and do something this evening, you all are telling me as the fiscal court, you're telling me that we're not gonna raise any more revenue. We're gonna live with the revenue stream that we currently have, and that's the direction I'm gonna have to head off into as I begin preparing the budget. And I'm prepared to do that, it's just, I can tell you, it's not gonna be pretty.
Okay, with all that said, can I legally make a motion that we bring this up for a second time?
I think you have made that motion, and now we're,
Okay, so there's a motion on the floor to change the rate on the ordinance number 7 from 7% to 5% and approve a first reading. Is that,
That is my motion, yes.
do we have a second? Okay, motion dies for lack of a second. Do we have any other suggestions from the court on that? And then we'll move on. Man. Anybody want to speak up or? Okay. Next item of business is